Last week, a listener who follows a lot of Christian podcasts, including our BreakPoint podcast, wrote us with the following question: troubled by conflicting opinions among Christians. For the Colson Center, I'm John Stonestreet. This is BreakPoint. Here's how she put it. In most cases, the Christian proponents seem to have a genuine love for Jesus and are trying to live out their belief faithfully, yet their conclusions and interpretations of the Scriptures are often diametrically opposed. If intelligent, well-educated, sincere Christians can come to such different interpretations, how can I possibly hope to come to a correct understanding of the truth? Well, given the hurt, anger, and even violence on the streets of America right now, not to mention in all of our social media channels, I can't imagine that she is the only person not only wondering about national division, but about the unity that Christ prayed for in the garden. All mine are yours, Jesus prayed, and yours are mine, and I am glorified in them. And I am no longer in the world, but they are in the world, and I am coming to you. Holy Father, keep them in your name, which you have given me, that they may be one, even as we are one. Why Christians can't just get along is certainly not a new question, but I do think it's changed a bit. As recently as a couple years ago, the conflict was mostly about theological positions or denominational points of emphasis. But today, the context has far more to do with politics and culture. That's not to say that the stakes are higher now than then, or vice versa. Because Christianity is at heart a worldview centered on the incarnation of the Son of God, both what you believe and how you live matter. There's a substance and an application to our biblical and theological understanding. A distinctive of today, however, is just how quickly the conflict can escalate, and not just in tone, but also in how quickly we assume bad character of others. Now, we welcome feedback on our BreakPoint commentaries, and of course, we get it. Last week, many people took issue with one commentary in particular, for which I am solely responsible. And I expected, and I received, disagreement, as well as some name-calling. My favorite was Biden supporter, and accusations about my character. Now, look, I slept just fine. The larger point is that the cliche that Christians are better known for what they're against than what they're for needs to be updated. Increasingly today, we're better known for being against each other than we are for being for each other. Not only does this cripple what Jesus said would be among our most effective tools of Christian witness, by this all people will know you're my disciples, if you have love for one another, but it can harm the faith of those inside the church as well. Now, love, and we must be clear about this, should never be reduced to just mere niceness, nor does it mean we should never disagree with anyone. Ideas have consequences. Bad ideas have victims, so there's too much at stake. Still, if we're to follow Father Robert Sirico's counsel to be, quote, ruthless with ideas and gentle with people, there's a few things we should keep in mind. First, though it seems that Christians disagree on much, we actually agree on most of the core tenets of the Christian faith. Though theologically speaking, we might differ on who we should baptize when, Christians largely agree on what baptism is about. We might disagree on which aspects of the Holy Spirit's work to emphasize today, but not that the Holy Spirit is working. Fundamentally, we agree Jesus Christ is the Son of God who died on the cross, rose from the dead, sits at the right hand of the throne of God, and is Lord of Lords. Our disagreements matter, of course, and theological error pushes some outside of anything that can be rightly called orthodox. But the church has been largely consistent on the most important theological doctrines. Second, those theological convictions that are core should be kept that way. Today, too many secondary issues, especially in how best to apply Christian morality and truth to the public square, has been made primary. Now, hear me clearly. Secondary issues are important, and we have to debate them. Those ideas have consequences and victims too. But we are far too quick to make secondary issues primary and then to dismiss those on the other side of us as being evil. Finally, the Scriptures are just as clear about how to communicate what's true as it is that we should communicate what's true. The fourth module of our Truth Love Together event is all about how to speak the truth in love. Launching the module is the one and only Lee Strobel, who talks about how to be better salt and brighter light. Also presenting in the module, Obianuju Ekiocha, one of the leaders of the pro-life movement in Africa. She talks about why speaking the truth is an act of love. Simply put, we just have to get better at this. In a world that's hesitant to embrace anything as true, we must show them how to do it. Atheist philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche once remarked that all truths are bloody truths to me. That doesn't strike me as a Christian sentiment. Certainly all truth is worth standing for, sometimes worth fighting for, but not all of our convictions are worth wounding others for. For BreakPoint, I'm John Stonestreet.